I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Of the juggernaut, bitch!
It's not a tumor.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
2 chicks at the same time.
I am the law!
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win. You die.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome to a very special 10th episode of Geek Speak Live, Disney's Renaissance. I'm your host, Craig, and I'm accompanied by Travis Goss.
What up?
And Mike Payton.
Everybody better be prepared.
So let's begin talking about... Actually, before I get started, I just want to thank Mike for making such awesome cover photos.
Oh, yeah, the one I did this week, I got to say, is one of my most proud ones. I recently learned a new thing with Photoshop called masking, which is not a new element to me. I'm familiar with masking from working in video, and even in PowerPoint uses a lot of masking, but I never really worked with it in Photoshop, and I expanded myself. Actually, I started using it last week with the Weird Al one, but this one I was like, man, we got to work mouse ears into this somehow. And I was like, all right, I just found like 100 pictures that I all wanted to incorporate somehow, and usually I only get one, but I was like, finally, I know how to get multiple ones in this, and I'm really happy. Like, you just look at this picture, and you just get a flood of all these different memories from all the movies at once.
Yeah, I love it, man. It looks great, and, they're getting better and better. It's really, you're doing a great job with those,
Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I really like it.
Mike the artiste. All right, so let's get started with, I think, one of Disney's most ambitious movies, The Lion King.
Oh, I think you had to factor in every single thing overall. This might be Disney's greatest work.
Yeah,
I can't argue with that. It still is a masterpiece to this very day.
Yeah. So, Mike, why do you think it's the best? What makes it the number one movie from Disney?
Well, this came at the peak for Disney. This came after Little Mermaid. They had a lot of momentum going their way. They had a lot of money in the company to finally invest in these movies because pre-Little Mermaid, when we talked about this when we did our previous Disney episode, their animation budget got cut really low. And, all the movies were still really cool, like 101 Dalmatians and Robin Hood and even Winnie the Pooh, the first version of The Rescuers. They were cool movies, but the drawing style is very rough. The frame rate is low, and you could just tell it was not a high point for the company. But when you get to these movies, my gosh, man, they hire some of the best artists in the world, and they make them put in the hours to make these movies look as beautiful as they can. And The Lion King, I just like it. I mean, they have always had talking animals, but just the setting of being in the African Pride lands with the lions and the hyenas and the giraffes and all those animals coming together was super cool. And I think the thing that I would most put in favor of The Lion King is its soundtrack. I mean, you get a guy like Elton John and Tim Rice teaming up together to make this. My gosh, every song was so cool on this. The opening scene, I think, is one of the most impactful opening scenes of any movie. I mean, before it even starts, you just hit, and like, it just scares you when you're not expecting it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like, wow.
You're a kick in the face right from the start. And then just the slow building emotion of the Rafiki coming in and picking up Simba and showing him to the rest of the animals and them all cheering and getting excited as the drums build up in the song. It's powerful. It's so powerful. And then all of a sudden, boom, you get the title screen. It's like, oh, my gosh, that's the movie right there. You can just end the movie right there, and it's one of the greatest. All you needed. But that's not where it ends. It goes on further. Then you get those other great tracks like Be Prepared and Just Can't Wait to Be King. Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely the most epic Disney animated films by a long shot. I mean, just looking at the animation alone, the great landscapes, the color they use, the contrast, man, it's a piece of art. I'll tell you. Travis, how did you feel about this movie?
Like I said before, this is definitely Disney Pictures' best movie they've ever released. And what I remember when I was 14 when this came out, It was the summer of 1994, and this was a movie I was just dying to see because I've seen the commercials for it, I've seen the trailer for it, and I was like, Disney, you guys have got yourselves something that you'll never be able to top. And I went into it with high hopes, and I was not disappointed at all. I love the story, and when you look at this movie, even though it has such a rich soundtrack, a fantastic animation style, and you had a really good voice cast. I mean, we had Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who played young Simba, and then when Simba became an adult, it was voiced by Matthew Broderick. And the most epic scene of the whole film was when Mufasa, spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen this movie, when Mufasa, who was killed earlier in the film, visits Simba later on in his adult life, trying to talk to him about, I forgot what the conversation was about, but the scene alone was just so epic. He was talking.
It was about remembering who you are, Simba.
Yeah.
You are the rightful king, and you must take your place. And
that's it.
Your duty.
Yeah, and let's talk about Mufasa. James Earl Jones voices this.
Powerful voice.
Yeah.
Perfect fit for it. When you want to have someone who could just command the whole pride based only on his voice, that's the guy you want.
Darth Vader, man.
That's such a stark contrast.
No, but he's so powerful, like, and he's just like, when you think of like a king, like that's Mufasa. He's one of the most memorable Disney characters, honestly.
And he's only there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. One of the saddest moments too, though, when he dies.
Oh, the feels, man.
Yeah.
Every time. I mean, and the first time you watch it, you don't expect it to come, but now every time you've watched it since, as soon as you see those gazelles coming down that mountain, you feel that sinking feeling. It's like, oh, here we go.
You know it's coming. Scar is such an evil, dark, sinister character.
Hey, am I the only one that saw a lot of parallels between Scar and Loki?
And Loki?
Yeah.
Go
I think it might
on.
just because we had that Thor episode a few weeks ago, but
no, that makes sense.
I see a lot. I mean, they're very like, they're the lankier brother to the more brutish brother, but they're the one who's got the more brain power. They're very Shakespearean and a little flamboyant in a way.
Yeah, the Lion King is pretty much the Macbeth story from Shakespeare.
Yep, that's right. I remember that very clearly.
There's also, I shouldn't really even delve into this when I don't even really know my shit, but there's some Japanese cartoon, I think it's called The White Lion, actually, that if you look at it, it's almost like they may have taken the story from Macbeth, but art style, they took it from this movie.
Okay.
So it's unfortunate Lion King cannot be completely credited as an original project, but you know what? No. What is these days? They did a very good job stealing someone else's stuff.
You know what? But they took what they call artistic license, and they made it their own.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Man, there's so much to say about this movie. I mean, besides it being like this awesome story of like growing up and coming up and becoming something more, and it's in stark contrast. Everybody loves that song Hakuna Matata, but it's like the antithesis of what it really is. In the end, like that's not what it was about. No,
that's true. And of course, the movie is remembered for some other really great songs. Of course, all of them written by Elton John.
All of them?
Yeah, he wrote the soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And one of the more famous songs from the soundtrack is "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?"
Yeah. I mean, I love the hyenas. They're like deliciously evil.
And they're delicious.
Yeah. Ed cracks me up. I love that little. He's like kind of like retarded.
Yeah. Cheech Marin provides a voice for one of the hyenas and Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, it was Cheech Marin. Yeah, I knew Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah.
That movie. I mean, every time I watch it, it just takes me back to when I was 14 and just making me feel like just made me feel young again, basically. And it's one of those movies that earns the respect of being very timeless.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember I remember being really sad. Like that movie will bring you through all the emotions. It really is that movie that just has it all. You know, it's got an epic story. You know, it's got like great like action and really really great visuals and sound and like
the
music, everything. Like, oh man.
Yeah, and the story itself, it has just about something for everyone. It's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got suspense, it's got action, it has everything.
Yeah, Timon and Pumbaa are like two of the greatest side characters in any Disney movie. I love them. I absolutely love them.
I forgot who voiced who, but I know one of them was voiced by Nathan Lane.
Yeah, did you ever watch the television show?
I did. I couldn't watch more than 5 minutes of it because I just didn't like it very much.
Yeah, I think it just centered around them.
It did.
So
It did, yeah.
Yeah. So let's. I know I watched the original movie, but there was like 1.5. It was like Lion King 1.5 or something.
Yeah. Let me research that, but I think that it's the original film plus added footage.
This movie is so special they re-released it in 3D, which would be pretty interesting, I guess.
I think they've done that. I think at one point they did.
No, they did it 2012.
Yep, that's right.
Pretty recently. Yeah, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
What was your favorite character? What was your all-time favorite character in this movie? There's a lot of really good ones.
You're going to think I'm really out there, but I absolutely did enjoy Scar.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that I highly respect villains in movies because, for one thing, they definitely help push the story along and gives the whole plot a main purpose it's like a centerpiece, as it will. And also it gives me kind of a respect for the people who play villains in general, because deep down, people who play these characters in real life, they're very, very sweet people. And also, it's a lot easier to play a villain than it is a good guy.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's because you're more enthralled into the role. You're opening up different types of emotions and mental capabilities in your psyche, and you're throwing everything you've got into this character to make it stand out. And what way to do that than by playing a villain?
Yeah. Well, this movie has a lot of really great ranges of personalities, like Rafiki, like the crazy baboon, and he's kind of like the mentor, older guy to look up to, and he kind of like looks over Simba sort of, and like shows him the path, but he's like absolutely insane. And I love Zazu, I'm sorry, the bird. I just love every little scene with him in it, like especially that scene when Scar decides to like eat him. I love that. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie. This is a little
At least he was kind enough to eat him whole.
Yeah.
If he just went for like the tail feathers or something, Mufasa would have been too late.
Yeah. So Mike, what was your favorite character in this movie?
Favorite character, I think it would have to be Simba.
Okay.
Honestly. And it's very rare that the main protagonist will be my favorite character of a movie. But man, Simba's story is great. This guy, this kid who's born with this huge responsibility of his future is suddenly put into this horrible tragedy of having to watch his father die. And on top of that, being blamed on it from his uncle, his asshole uncle, and then being chased out of town by these hyenas, and hooking up with some good loyal friends who take care of him and raise him, and he's got this carefree attitude. He's a little immature, but overall he's still a very free spirited guy, and good spirited guy, I should say. And finally, when his long lost friend shows up, he's like, "Shit, I got to get my shit together," and he ends up running back and he's taken back over.
Yeah, you would say he's very strong-willed.
He's very strong-willed, but at the same time, he also needs a little bit of a kick in the butt. But that's fine. You know, people are supposed to have their faults. Simba's not perfect, and I think that's another reason why I do like him. He does have his faults. He does have signs of weaknesses throughout this movie.
Absolutely.
You know, he gets scared. You know, he gets hurt.
Yeah, he's one of the most relatable characters. Granted, he's a king, but, you know, in a lot of these Disney movies, like The King or Prince or whatever, are characters that are very disconnected from reality.
Indeed, yeah. They're always like superhero-esque characters, or they're way too whimsical that you can't associate with them at all. I think that's one of the reasons why, as Travis say, we more often associate with the villain. The villain is often a little bit more grounded in reality than the main character is.
Yeah, not in this, though. Scar is...
No.
He's out there in left field. And, like, I have a hard...
There's a point where Simba goes to him, he's like, "You're weird." He's like, "You have no idea."
That's right.
Yeah, so it's just the way he talks is just so flamboyant. And, yeah, I don't see, again, his motivation. Like, I get that he wanted to be king, but why? Why did he want, like, why work with the hyenas? Why destroy the Pride Land?
Well, the hyenas were his key to victory.
Right.
You know, it was like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You know, you help me become king, and I'll help you get a little bit of extra food.
But he totally fails in that aspect.
because one point before Simba comes back to the kingdom, they basically have ran out of food.
Well, I think it was more like nobody really wanted to work for him. Because at the very end, like, everything just, like, miraculously turned back to normal.
Yeah. Well, after Scar was killed, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, why would all the water disappear? Why would all the... I mean, you know, I don't know.
Well, it's depression has hit the land.
Yeah.
You know, believe it or not, energies can affect nature. It's not impossible to believe something like that.
All right, I'll go with that.
That makes sense. I'll buy it.
Sure.
What about you, Craig? Who's your favorite character from The Lion King?
Oh, man. Besides Mufasa, I would say Timon and Pumbaa.
Okay.
I really like that. It offsets the dark tone of the movie, these two characters. And, you know, it really it gives that feeling of friendship and loyalty. And these two guys are really, like, they'll die for Simba, and I love that about them. And they're just like those free spirits, you know.
So I don't want to switch topic into this too much, but while I was searching through Somalia to find a copy of The Lion King, I came across what is apparently called Lion King 1.5.
Yeah, we were talking about this before. I figured you watched this one. So what was the differences between the two?
Well, I didn't watch 1.5. I actually came across that first. It starts with the exact same Lion King movie, to where, like, the sun comes up and then the animals are flying across, and all of a sudden you hear, like, a talking over it. I'm like, what is this, a riff tracks or like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing? I was like, what did I find here? Then all of a sudden it cuts back and it's like Timon and Pumbaa sitting in, like, movie chairs watching it and eating popcorn, and they're like, oh, this isn't the right story. We're going to tell a story our way. So if it's my understanding, it's the exact same story of The Lion King, but told from Timon and Pumbaa's perspective.
Oh, okay. Well, I always thought it was just, like, extra. Like, I thought it was, like, it showed more of what happened between Simba being a cub and him growing up.
Oh, it could be. I assume that is part of what it was. I didn't watch the whole thing. I only got about 10 minutes, and I was like, wait, this is not what I wanted to watch. What I did watch, I wanted to get to in a second, too, but I want to change my answer for who my favorite character was.
Change your answer?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let it slide.
My favorite character was Ed.
Oh man, the silly hyena that doesn't talk.
The silly hyena that just laughs. I like how the whole movie they're setting it up where he's laughing, like, and then it's all, I think, just for the very end of the movie when they're moving in to kill Scar. It's like, what do you think, Ed? Getting really evil with his laugh.
Yeah, he's just like a psychopath.
Indeed. But what I did end up watching, I think, was some sort of special edition. Maybe it was one of those anniversary editions where they soup up the thing. They make the DVD have extra footage on it and all that.
Right.
And initially what I thought was like, oh, maybe we'll get a couple extra songs. But, I didn't even think that at first. At first I thought I was just watching the normal movie. What happened is about 15 minutes into the movie, maybe, where Mufasa's walking Simba through some grasslands, and Zazu comes in, and he all of a sudden starts singing this song called "The Morning Report," and it's absolutely pointless, and it comes out of nowhere, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's grating. It's one of the worst songs I've ever heard. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the musical cues of the movie at all, and you can plainly see where they all of a sudden just cut between scenes. I'm like, okay, I remember this. I don't remember that. I remember this. I don't remember that. Like, I remember Mufasa, teaching Simba how to crouch slowly in the grass and then jump at Zazu. And, they made it so that when he jumps him, it's to make him stop singing this song. I was like, oh, thank goodness. But still, there was no reason to add that song in there. It added nothing. I don't know what they were thinking. And after I saw it, I was like, maybe there's a couple new songs. Maybe there's something worthwhile in there. I never saw any other new songs. In fact, I don't think I saw anything else that was new. I think that was the only extra thing that was put in there.
That's horrible.
Okay.
That's like when Steven Spielberg changes his movies, or George Lucas.
Well, I wonder if perhaps maybe it was like an original cut that was in and they took it out because it was terrible.
Yeah.
But they think they should have left it that way if that's the case.
Yeah, well, it's all about the almighty dollar. Hey, new edition. Another reason to buy another DVD.
Mm.
Okay, so if it's Morning Report, I'm willing to assume that Elton John did not write that.
I cannot imagine that he did.
That sounds like a total Disney, like they hired an in-house music writer for something like that. Then that's pretty pitiful then.
It stinks.
The critic! Hey, we missed you. Okay, but I remember someone posted this on YouTube some time ago, that Disney put together a gag reel from The Lion King, and it was all animated, and it was a scripted scene basically. It's all the voice actors who were just reading the script, and apparently the characters in the movie were flubbing their lines or whatnot. It's just your typical Disney thing that carried on to a lot of those Disney Pixar films. Now, I don't know exactly what edition of The Lion King that's available on, but when I saw that, my first thought was, okay, this must be like a deleted scene of some kind that they did not want to put in the original film, or there was just something special for this upcoming DVD Blu-ray release. I didn't know, but it was different.
Now, can we talk about how the movies of this generation differ so much from the movies of the past generation? I think it's most apparent in this when we compare it to the movie that we watched before in our previous Disney episode, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty was this classic tale of damsel in distress. There was a lot of flat colors. I mean, it was still very nice looking, but there wasn't a lot of exciting things going on. The human characters didn't really look very good. I mean, they were nice to look at, but they didn't look like humans. The style that they took with the lions and even all the other animals looks fantastic. The colors are bright and beautiful.
Well, had to help
the budget was more
computers.
amazing. So I don't think they used too many computers for Lion King.
They had to have, man.
They had to have, because some of those, they had to use just a little bit of CG.
Yeah, like the sprawling backgrounds with the birds going and stuff. You can see it looks a little bit CGI-y.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine too much. This was in the early 90s.
Well,
1994.
Yeah, and also like the previous year we had Jurassic Park that came out.
Yeah,
but that's a completely different animal.
Well, yeah, but still they did use CG in parts of Lion King, and that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, it was possible.
I mean, they were doing CG in freaking Terminator in their mid-late 80s.
Well, they also used a little bit of some computer animation for Beauty and the Beast, which came out prior to The Lion King. I think it was like around 90.
Oh my God, it's so obvious when they do it in that though.
Oh yeah.
When they do those ballroom shots, it's like, whoa, where did we go with this? I actually saw that in The Rescuers Down Under as well, which I'll point out more when we come to that point in this discussion. Where else do we go with Lion King on this?
How about the wonderful direct-to-video sequel that came out?
I have not seen any of these other movies that are affiliated with Lion King. I've only seen the original.
Let's compare this movie to like the old, pre-Renaissance movies.
Okay.
Like Sleeping Beauty or even I don't know, say Dumbo.
Okay.
I think that the characterization is a lot greater.
Oh yeah, I mean when you look at Aurora or Prince Charming, who I don't even think had a name, blandest, most boring characters ever. I mean, at least Maleficent was kind of cool, but even when you compare Scar to Maleficent, there's a lot more character there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's more subtle tones of morality in this movie. It's not so blatant.
No, the music is definitely a lot more bright and enjoyable.
Right.
Not to say that there wasn't an impactful soundtrack for Sleeping Beauty or any of those other movies, but now when you've come up with such better recording technology and you're becoming more creative with the instrumentation that you're using for things, you get a guy like Elton John on board, of course it's going to be a hit. But if you look at even any of these other Disney movies that we had during this era, excellent arrangements that were put together for them.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So let's talk about some other movies from this great era of Renaissance Disney. Let's talk about The Rescuers Down Under, Mike.
Okay, well, The Rescuers Down Under is a movie that I remember very fondly from my childhood. This was probably the VHS that I watched the most, if not perhaps second to All Dogs Go to Heaven. Huge fan of the, not so much the Rescuers series, because the first one, even though I am a huge Don Bluth fan, I don't think that's his best work. I think that movie's a little bland. I think it was a good setup for this. I mean, we went in with the characters we're already familiar with Bernard and Bianca, these two mystery-solving mice who go all over the world to save children. It's nice having that background already all set up, so we have to spend too much time getting involved with them. And it leaves a lot more room to learn about these awesome new cast of characters you get, because we're going to Australia, so you got to have this crocodile hunter. I don't know if you would call him a vole. Maybe he'd be a vole, whatever the heck he is. Some kind of also rodent that's a sidekick to them and helps them out. He's got his boomerang and everything. He also has a fly buddy that helps him out throughout things. You got what is he? He's not a seagull. Some kind of bird, some kind of giant bird, and they're brothers. They're called Orville and Wilbur,
Pelican?
and they're the birds that fly them around. It could an albatross. Albatross. I remember that because there's this one scene when he's coming in, because the birds act like planes, and he's coming in Australia, and it's like, Albatross, you're way too big for this landing pad. You are way too big. Turn away.
Okay. Before we continue, I thought for sure you were going to go, Albatross from Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Oh, no.
Continue.
Apparently this movie was a flop.
It did not do very well initially in theaters. Like I said, I think that had a lot to do with the fact that the initial Rescuers movie was not very good, and I don't think it got as much of the hype behind it as a lot of the other Disney movies at the time. And when Little Mermaid and when Aladdin and when Beauty and the Beast were coming out, people knew about it. People didn't know so much about The Rescuers Down Under coming out. And I became a fan of it on the VHS. I don't believe I saw it in theaters. But this movie, I think, is one where you can start to see a lot of their beginning use of CG, but very, very classy on how they used it. It was only when absolutely needed, and they blended it in very well still with hand-drawn parts. CG has taken over so much these days. As a matter of fact, starting with just the tail end of this is when they started going full CG for the majority of their movies, which is, people have their differing opinions on. We could talk about that later, perhaps. But in this movie, they kept it to a minimum, and I'm glad, because when it was needed, it really made the action scenes a lot more exciting. But when you wanted to step back and you wanted to just enjoy, like, the bad guy just getting this evil grin in his face while the lighting's shining up from beneath him, that's much better when you're having this hand-drawn style. And speaking of the bad guy,
I was scared of him. Like, I thought he was really, like, creepy.
Oh, McLeach, he's a fantastic villain. I actually would have liked to have known a little bit more about McLeach. I don't think they went enough into his story. The only thing we know is that he made it to the third grade. They didn't make it through the third grade for nothing. Fantastic. And his sidekick, the animal I was never quite sure what it was when I was a youngin. Now, if I had to pinpoint it, I would say maybe it was a Komodo dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a Komodo dragon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But when I was a kid, I was like, because I know he calls him a salamander. Her a salamander at some point.
It looks kind of like the eels from Little Mermaid.
Exactly. It looks more amphibious than anything.
Yeah.
But I love that character too. It's so goofy, and like when it's trying to eat the eggs and it's breaking its teeth trying to eat the eggs. And it's like snarky little attitude when it stops them from taking the keys, and it's shaking its tail to them. And probably its best scene and the great interaction between the villain McLeach and Joanna, the Komodo dragon, is with the eggs. The humans trying to make McLeach trying to make his eggs for a meal, and Joanna keeps slyly stealing them from behind his back while he can't see. This isn't a movie where I could particularly praise too much else besides its visuals. Some of the characters were cool. The soundtrack was okay, but what you need to see this movie for is the visuals. I mean, there's all these 5-second little bursts that are just absolutely amazing. Like when Cody first releases this giant golden eagle and they're flying around through the sky together, as if all that wasn't beautiful enough. It all builds and builds and builds, getting more and more beautiful until eventually the point where the eagle just pushes Cody, little boy Cody, off of the side of this waterfall, and he flies into the air as all these other birds are flying around alongside of him. It's the most goddamn whimsical thing you will ever see in your life. It really is. Like, you see that and it's like, oh, it's like almost the most epic thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, I feel like this is a film that has like such a huge contrast between the human characters and the animal characters.
And this is what I want. Why do the animals give such a shit about the humans? Why are all these mice have this like giant federation to go and save humans? What do they give a shit for?
Because they can speak.
I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like a whatchamacallit, the Secret of Nim type thing, where like they have an understanding where they need humans around to provide them like electricity and all those other things that they need to use. Maybe that's why they care about the humans so much. But then why do they care about saving kids? Like, it's not that deep.
Well, you got to give that feeling of safety. Like there's somebody out there that's looking over you in this cold, harsh.
Oh, it's okay
world.
if I get kidnapped. Then I'm going to be saved by the mice.
Well, you're not a kid.
And you're not
anymore,
in
but when I watched it at first when I was a kid. Was that the feeling I was supposed to get? That's the target audience.
Yeah, I guess.
It certainly wasn't me. They didn't make that movie with me in mind now.
We got to save Mike. I don't know. I haven't seen that. I've seen that movie a long time ago when I was a kid. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was the best Disney movie, but it was definitely enjoyable. Travis, did you watch this movie by any chance?
Sadly, I have not seen it.
I would recommend it. Like I said, if you want to take the time to see the first one, if you're a completionist for the works of Disney or Don Bluth, it's worth checking it out. This one, though, a must-see, especially if you're a fan of this era of Disney. This fits in so well with the Aladdins and with the Beauty and the Beast and with the Lion Kings. This is up there as far as quality.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's definitely a lot better than the original.
I definitely will give that a try. I'll definitely have to take a look into it. Now, is that out on DVD yet or Blu-ray?
Oh, yes, it's out on both. As a matter of fact, I believe they have a special edition that has both the original Rescuers and the Rescuers Down Under packed together. So you get two one.
Nice.
Definitely awesome.
Definitely awesome.
Definitely. Yeah. You're awesome. You're awesome.
If nothing else, though, I know it's definitely out on VHS because I have one.
You know what's funny? I have all the Disney movies on VHS. Because when I was a kid, my mom made it this thing to like collect them all, and now it's like VHS is all but it is dead. And
they don't make VHS. They haven't made VHSs for almost 10 years.
God knows if they even work anymore. Does anybody know like the shelf life of a VHS tape?
Depending on if it's archival or not, most VHSs will last about 10 to 15 years if you're lucky.
Really?
Yeah.
So most of these movies are probably rotted.
Could be, depending on where you keep them and how many times you watch them and all that. You know, there's all these factors you have to take in.
Yeah.
And also, believe it or not, some stores like Walmart still sell DVD VCR combos.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I mean, people still have VHS, they just don't buy them anymore.
exactly.
Except for yard sales.
In fact, the last VHS tape I bought, it actually was at a Goodwill store. It was, I know, getting sidetracked. We'll come back to it here in a moment. I got DC Cab at a Goodwill store for 39 cents, still in its shrink wrap.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good find. All right, yeah, let's go back. Let's bring it back. Let's talk about one of the later Disney Renaissance movies, Hercules.
Yes.
Take it away, Travis.
Okay. Now, this is a movie I have not seen. I know I say a lot of stuff on here, like there's movies I did not see and all that. I was fortunate enough to catch this on Netflix,
Right.
and I'll give you my first impressions about it. I definitely, when I seen this movie, I can see where they got the art style for The Emperor's New Groove.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was very comical. To me, the film did not take itself too seriously.
No, not at all. It breaks the fourth wall a lot.
Yeah, Hercules definitely did break the fourth wall on a few occasions, much like a lot of other Disney films, but this one definitely did. And what was really nice about this movie is not only did I get this vibe of what was to come for The Emperor's New Groove, but also it made me it brought in some sort of a Lion King feel to it, because it's the same kind of setup.
Mm-hmm.
The hero of the film is born to this mother and father, and the Greek god of Zeus and his wife. Gosh, what is her name?
Well, let me bring it back to let me bring it back to the animation real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It has one of the most unique animation styles. It's very like a lot of accentuated lines and stuff. But if you look at a lot of old Greek art from the ancient Greek days, and if you look at like the pottery and stuff, you could see a lot of the same type of artistic style, and I think that's what they were going for.
Absolutely. And what made it really interesting there at the beginning is they were going to start off where it's going to be like a serious tone, where the narrator was going to talk about the story of Hercules, and then all of a sudden this pot sort of comes to life, some of the animation, and it was these muses. Is there a plural form for that? Because there's four of them.
I would guess muses is correct.
Musy. Musai.
Okay, well, these muses actually came out and said, no, honey, no, we're going to tell the story of Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
And then, next thing you know, they began the movie just singing about the birth of Hercules and what is to become of him. And they use this vehicle throughout most of the scene to go from one scene to another. And it's all this gospel-type music that they use. And it's really good. I really like it. And the running gag for each of these songs that ends with, that's the gospel truth.
Really?
That's like the last lyric they sing before they transition to the next scene is, that's the gospel truth.
Yeah, there's a lot of little jab jokes. It goes throughout the movie. I love the comedy of not the comedy, but the sense of humor throughout the whole movie.
It's very rich with humor.
Yeah,
and for good reason too, because a lot of the vocal cast have some sort of comedic background. Like for one of them, we had Danny DeVito.
Yeah, philosophically, Christ, can you say it?
Him.
Philosophicles?
Nope, it's
Phil. Phil.
Philosophicles. I don't know.
God, Jesus.
Just call him Phil, because they just call him as Phil.
Yeah, they just call him Phil. But if any of you any of you can actually pronounce that name, please call us at 760-512-7247 and
please
show us up if you can.
I can't do it. Okay, but anyways, and then we also have Rip Torn, who voiced Zeus, and we also have James Woods, who plays Hades.
James Woods. Hades, the best character in that movie.
He knocked it out of the park.
Oh, my God.
And he also did a lot of ad-libbing when they were doing the recordings of the soundtrack for the film. He was fantastic.
Yeah, probably if it wasn't so like outrageous, he would be one of my favorite, if not favorite, villains in a Disney movie.
Yeah. And I just came across this too. Guess who was the opening narrator of the whole film?
Who's that?
Charlton Heston.
No.
Swear to God. Swear to God.
Get out of here.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, that voice looks so familiar. Then I checked it up on IMDb, and I was like, no way! Charlton Heston?
Charlton Heston.
That actually seems kind of fitting because he did play Hercules at one point, didn't he?
I played Spartacus?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
He played Spartacus in Planet of the Apes.
Maybe he might have played Hercules.
He could.
He did all those, right? He did freaking Moses. I mean, he might have done Hercules.
Yeah, he was a big deal in the 60s.
And, of course, in the 70s with Planet of the Apes. Yeah. But anyways, continuing. And we also had Pain and Panic, voiced respectively by Bobcat Goldthwait and one of my favorite actors of all time, Matt Frewer. And for those of you who don't know who Matt Frewer is, all I got to say is Max Headroom.
Oh, wow.
Panic.
Jeez. That's pretty cool.
It is. And Bobcat Goldthwait as Pain, he sort of did his type thing when he was doing his line deliveries, but... And then, let's see. And also Frank Welker played the Pegasus, who was, as we all know, Hercules' I don't want to say noble steed. That sounds really cliche, and that's not really fitting. But this creature that flies him around throughout most of the film.
His Pegasus?
Pegasus, yeah. That was voiced by Frank Welker.
Okay.
Oh, Frank Welker, he voiced Fred in Scooby-Doo, played Kermit the Frog in Muppet Babies. He's done a lot of voice acting. He still does quite a lot of voice acting today. He's the current voice of Garfield. Yeah. But anyways, again, sidetrack. Wonderful, fantastic cast, and the soundtrack is just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of gospel music, but wow, this was so fitting for the whole story.
It's funny how they work gospel music into something that's like Greek mythology.
It's very epic, though, because a lot of these stories that take place during that time frame has such epic music, and couldn't get more epic by putting in some gospel tunes.
No.
It made it very triumphant, absolutely.
Absolutely. And now this movie is just fantastic. I'm not going to give too much of it away, but one of my favorite scenes is actually towards the beginning of the film when we have Hercules as a young teenager, and he absolutely does not know his own strength, and he accidentally demolishes an entire village.
Accidentally.
You know, he's just trying to catch a discus that was thrown, and he accidentally throws himself against a pillar, and all the pillars fall down like dominoes, thus destroying some major structures, and whole villages just wiped out, all because he crashed into a pillar.
Now, all these Disney movies have an underlying moral theme. What do you think the moral theme of this one would be?
Discovering yourself.
Discovering your strengths.
Discovering your strengths, everything. Which is basically a lot of these Disney movies from then on. That was kind of like the underlying moral is finding yourself, finding your true self.
Yeah, I guess you could say that because they're geared towards younger kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the one thing, and then one thing about this, and I see it a lot now, that they don't do it now, but adults can watch this movie. It's entertaining for adults too.
Yeah.
And all these movies are. You don't see that anymore. Like, movies for kids are like strictly for kids. Mm. It's just not fun to watch some of them. But these are great, and they got jokes, that kids won't understand, but adults will. And I mean, there might be a few of them that come out today, or a recent where they have that. It's for both kids and adults. But I agree, they're very far and few in between. Yeah, absolutely. So this was your first time watching this movie? First time watching it. Thank God it's on Netflix, because otherwise I would have had to run out to some video store, if they still exist,
see if they have a copy. You can't find video stores anymore, damn it.
Yeah, let me tell you, man. If I can't find a movie on Netflix or something, like it really is really hard to watch stuff sometimes. I couldn't.
Are you kidding?
No, really. I mean, unless
on a legal sense.
Yeah.
Not
legally.
even, man. When you got things like iTunes and Amazon Prime and Hulu Plus, there's so many ways to watch stuff these days.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, but I don't want to sometimes I don't want to put my credit card into the computer. I don't know.
Buy a prepaid gift card.
Touche.
Yep.
You got nothing left now, do you? No excuses. Now all the movies in the world are at your fingertips. You're welcome.
At least for some time, because I have heard in some stories where, like in Amazon, that even if you purchase a movie, you're not actually purchasing the film, as it were, because at some point they could pull the license and you lose that film.
Well, the weird thing with that is when you purchase a movie, you don't even download a file to your computer. It just gets added to your player that you stream whenever you want, and you can get an app on all your devices to watch it, but you don't have a file on your computer to do with as you wish, which is kind of BS, but yeah, that's true.
Yeah, plus saving movies, it uses a lot of space.
This is true,
especially if you're watching stuff in HD.
Yeah, it just gives you that option.
What if you can't get online?
That's true.
But anyways, steering back to Hercules, I definitely highly recommend this film. If you haven't seen it like I have, go check it out. It is absolutely fantastic. And continuing onwards, hey, Craig.
Yes.
What did you think of your film?
What did I think of it? I thought it was awesome. In fact, I always loved this film. And we're going to talk, is this Aladdin from 1992? Man, it was always been my favorite animated film. And just watching it the other day, I'll agree with that full-heartedly today. I love the music. I love the setting. It's got that Arabic feel to it. That Mideastern sort of I guess medieval type Mideastern. I don't know, but Robin Williams as the genie, funny, awesome character, awesome characters across the board. I love them all, and I'll say that the animation in this film is probably the high point. I think the only other film that has better animation in the Disney lineup would be Lion King. Especially, like I said, with the genie. The genie will, every time, he makes a wish or, he's on screen, all kinds of crazy crap is going on. And then, he'll, reference current, well, I guess it's not current anymore, but pop culture references and stuff like that. A lot of great comedy. Jafar, one of the craziest villains. I really like. He's evil, really evil, but and menacing. But he's I don't know. He's not ridiculous like some other villains.
So he's not like Hook from Peter Pan, basically.
No, he's not like Hook. He's just. He's just ultra menacing. He would be like a Bond villain almost.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, definitely. Again, some of my favorite songs, but overall, it's just one of those compelling stories of love, greed, friendship, and loyalty. All in all, Aladdin. I love Aladdin's character because he's not perfect. The whole time the movie's going on, he's just trying to keep up with his lies, because he's lying to the princess about being a prince, and he just wants to hook up with her, but he doesn't even realize that she just loves him for him and who he is. It doesn't matter that he's not a prince, but he's just trying to keep this up, and then, it all culminates into the big climax, which, Jafar becomes really powerful and whatever, and then he gets turned into a genie, and then he outsmarts him because now he's trapped into a lamp, and in the end he stays true to Robin Williams' genie, and he sets him free, and it's just a beautiful story, all in all. I mean, I could watch that movie once a year. I love it so much. Any of you other guys watch this movie at all, or
Parts of it.
parts of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But here's my thing. It was this was a few years ago. It was on the Disney Channel, fittingly.
Right.
But I only caught like the middle of it, and I was like, okay, this is not fun because I'm one of those types of, if I miss the first half hour or so of the film, I was like, I'm not going to watch it. I want to watch it from the beginning, especially if it's something I've never seen before. And unfortunately, I never got back to seeing the whole film. But from what I've seen, I definitely see where you're coming from with all your viewpoints, because this movie, it's much like a lot of these Disney movies that came out in the 90s. It had just about everything. It had comedy, it had drama, it had everything.
Yeah.
And of course, you had Robin Williams as the genie, which, you got to be honest, that had to have been the selling point for the whole film.
Yeah, definitely. And then Gilbert Gottfried as Iago.
Yes.
Oh man, it's just great cast. Even like the animal characters. See, in this movie, it has like the contrast. There's no talking. Well, yeah, Iago is a talking animal, but most like the animals are just not. Like Abu, he's a monkey that's like Aladdin's best friend, and he's just like a little devious creature, and it's just really like it sets that friendship and loyalty tone, and I think that's like the underlying moral of the whole movie, and I absolutely love it. Mike, did you by any chance see this movie as a kid, or?
Of course, it's fucking Aladdin. Are you kidding?
Oh, okay, all right, thank you. Not alone.
No, Aladdin's one of the most fantastic movies ever. I mean, I love the storytelling in that too. How you get brought into this desert, and there's the shopkeeper who's like, "I'm going to tell you this tale."
Oh,
and
yeah, that's the other thing.
Fantastic setup. Good.
The opening, when it opens up with the shopkeeper, man. Well, I love that. I think that guy, he was played by Robin Williams too, I believe.
I believe he was, and man, it set the comedy, or excuse me, the humor of the film perfectly right there, because like, come closer, and the camera zooms right into it. It's like, no, too close.
And it makes fries. It'll never break. Oh, it broke.
Oh man. Oh, and do you guys remember who voiced Aladdin?
Oh, jeez, Aladdin was Scott Wanger.
Yep.
And wasn't he? And I know where you're going with this, Travis. You watch Game Grumps?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of Game Grumps.
Yeah, they talk about how he was DJ's boyfriend from Full House, right?
Exactly.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had that episode of Full House where they go to Disneyland and he meets Aladdin, and it's kind of like an ode to this film.
Yeah, it's funny too. And I bring this up because it seemed kind of I don't know what the word I use. It's just interesting how at that time he became such a huge star on Family Guy, Full House.
Yeah.
Right. And of course he became such a popular character. Yeah, then he's gonna voice Aladdin. Interesting. But he pulled it off. He did pull it off. And you know what? He's a very interesting character, but out of all the characters, you know, he's probably the least, actually. But, you know, that's not a bad thing, because, you know, your side characters are Robin Williams and who else? Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried, and yeah, it's pretty good voice actors. Yeah.
But her dad was awesome, the Sultan.
Yeah, the Sultan.
Let's see here. And did you watch the TV series when that was out?
I did watch it a little bit. It stayed true to the television show. You also got to realize that this movie had 2 other sequels.
Oh yes, The Return of Jafar and Prince of Thieves. What's the other one?
Yeah, I'd never seen the third one, but I did watch Return of Jafar, and I thought that was a really good sequel because it stayed really true to the original film.
Absolutely, I enjoy Return of Jafar significantly. I never saw Prince of Thieves either. I have no idea what happens in that one.
I know, I gotta watch it.
What I did get through, though, was the video game.
Sega Genesis one or the Super Nintendo one?
The Genesis one, the good one.
Yeah, that's the good one.
And I beat it. It was one of the first games I ever beat as a kid, and I come to find as an adult, it's considered one of the harder games. I'm like, really? I freaking kicked that game's ass.
Dude, I couldn't beat. I mean, I eventually beat it as a kid, but I remember being really frustrated with that. I think I broke my first controller on that game. Especially that last level when you fight Jafar. All you got to do is throw apples at him.
Yeah, no, Jafar was easy. The level that always got me was the flying carpet.
Oh, yeah, where
that
it speeds up. Oh, my God, that's so frustrating.
Mm-hmm. You never know which way it's going to go, and that's cheap.
It's cheap, and there's no checkpoints, and the level's so long.
That's when you know you had one of a really fantastic game back in the day. There was no checkpoints. They took a cue from that one game, the Battletoads game. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like that with the third level, the one nobody can beat.
I can beat it.
You know what? It's one of the most beautiful looking Genesis games too.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, man,
it looks just like the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, the sprites look just like the movie.
Yeah, the background's really colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play that after. Well, I gotta work, but I'm gonna go play it tomorrow.
That game definitely had a lot. They showed a lot of TLC in that game, and the movie, of course, was fantastic. There a lot of hard work went into that film as well.
Yeah, I think this was like, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Lion King were like the three biggest movies during this Renaissance time.
Can't argue with that.
No, you can't. And if you would like to talk about your favorite Disney movies, please call us at 760-512-7247. And since we're back, I mean, we talked about 4 of our favorite movies here, but there are a load of other Disney movies that came on during this time period between 1988 and 1998. Let's talk about some other ones. Mike, do you have any other of your favorite movies from this time?
Well, if I had to pick one of them that stuck out to me, it would be the DuckTales movie. Huge fan of the DuckTales in general. The TV show is one of my favorites. The video game, of course, an excellent favorite of mine. But, man, this movie, such a journey and so much fun to watch. I mean, you got all the great characters in there. You got Launchpad McQuack from the very start making things hilarious. You got the 3 kids constantly getting the problems going deeper and deeper. And Uncle Scrooge being Uncle Scrooge. But it's a nice little fun mystery adventure. It's almost got like an Indiana Jones type feel to it, which is really cool to be in this Disney setting. And it's another one of those that I don't think has become very popular, but I think totally should be. I think it's very, very well done, very well put together, and another masterpiece of this era.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I probably have seen it when I was a kid, but it's been a long time. I don't know. Travis, did you watch that movie at all, or?
I did, but only once though. And this is during a time when DuckTales was like the big thing on television. Of course, you knew sooner or later they're going to turn it into a movie. And came out in 1990. It was called DuckTales the Movie: Treasure of the Lost Lamp. And it had everybody in there, and even had Rip Taylor in this. He played the genie.
Who?
Rip Taylor.
Who?
Am I mispronouncing his name?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, though.
Are you about Rip Torn?
Yeah, I talked about Rip Torn when I was talking about Hercules. He played Zeus.
Yeah, I was like, are you talking? That's who you're talking about? Who's Rip Taylor? I didn't know there was more than one person named Rip.
Okay, this comedian who's very flamboyant, and he throws confetti by throwing sticks, and confetti comes out.
That's his gag? That sounds worse than freaking Gallagher.
Okay. So let you know well, Gallagher's cool. But anyways, Rip Taylor. Okay, have you seen any of the Jackass movies?
Yes.
Okay, that guy comes out at the end of the movie and goes, "Oh, Johnny Knoxville." That guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just another face that says Johnny Knoxville.
Anyway, moving on. No, but this movie was great. And like I said, I've only seen it once. And I've been trying to find it on DVD, and it is kind of hard to find. It is available, but you have to really look for it. But actually, no, I take that back. You can get it
in Somalia.
In Somalia, yes. But you can rent the movie.
You gotta fight off them pirates, though. Yar.
You can actually
rent your booty.
You can actually go to like Amazon.com and under Instant Video, you can rent it for $2.99 or just buy the movie outright for $9.99.
There you go.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime coming to the save again.
Yes. Thank you, Amazon Prime. You're fabulous.
I don't know if this counts as, I guess it does count as animation, but The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that was awesome.
Of course.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a little bit. That was written by Tim Burton, so, wackiness ensues and the dark tones of this film. Really awesome movie right there. Jack Skellington and the way they portray Christmas and Halloween. Yeah. So I know, Travis, go for it. I know you love this movie.
Oh my God, do I love this movie! This movie was originally released by Touchstone Pictures in 1993 because at that time, even though it was going to be released by Disney, the end product kind of made them think, oh, this might scare a few children. Let's not release this under our under Disney Pictures. So they gave it to Touchstone, which is a subsidiary of Disney, and it was a big hit. It was kind of freaky anyway. Oh yeah, but the thing is though, when you like in the opening song, "This Is Halloween," they made a point that none of the characters in the movie are evil.
What?
Yeah, just listen to it. Listen to the lyrics of "This Is Halloween." It comes to the point is, well, that's our job, but we're not mean. It's our town of Halloween. Because really, they're not evil characters. They just
that's their nature.
Yeah, that's just their nature. They just like to scare people, but they don't do it to be mean. It's just how they are.
So they're kind of like the Addams Family.
Yeah, basically.
So I guess, so having that Christmas thing come in is kind of like pushing their culture away.
A little bit, but at the same time, they don't know what Christmas is all about. Jack Skellington only had like a feel of what he saw, and he was trying to convey that to everybody of Halloween Town. And while they want to embrace Christmas, but at the same time, they're also using what they know from their world and try to incorporate that to Christmas. And of course, we have such terrible, terrible results from it. But
now you're telling me Oogie Boogie is not a bad guy?
They actually banished him to one section of Halloween Town, but the general population of Halloween Town, they're not mean people. Of course, you have Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and they're Oogie Boogie's minions.
Mm-hmm.
But they just represent just a very, very small population of people who are evil. But like I said, the general population, they're nice people. This is just how they live their life.
It's creepy. I mean, that is one of the most creepiest movies I've ever seen as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Oogie Boogie, he's just a sack full of maggots, right?
My bugs!
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I love the way they filmed that. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. It still is. You know, you could watch that as a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie. You know.
That's right, and I mean they've also said. I mean, I've read some interviews that it's actually one of those movies they can watch any time of the year. But of course, as mentioned, it's much more popular during Halloween and Christmas time.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
It's only fitting.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, what is that? There's like kind of like a stop motion claymation. It
was stop motion animation. That's all.
Yeah,
they use puppets and everything.
They use puppets. Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was clay. Yeah, it was definitely one of the freaky
movie, but it certainly fared better than Corpse Bride, but that's not a Disney movie.
I didn't even watch Corpse Bride.
It's not very good. It's not very good.
No, Mike, how'd you feel about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Honestly, not a Disney movie I'm a very big fan of. I think it is one of the most overrated Disney films of all time, actually possibly one of the most overrated films of all time. I'm not very big on Tim Burton. I think he makes the same movie every time. I do hold a great deal of respect for the stop-motion art because I know that's a very, very tough thing to do on a long-term basis like that. Right. It took them so long to make that movie. I can really appreciate the work they put into it, but beyond that, I can't really find a lot to like in it. It's just like, lots of black and white stripes and googly eyes. Yeah.
I feel like Tim Burton found his stride making Beetlejuice and decided to go with it.
Yeah, every movie that I've seen since then has just felt like I'm watching like something else with a Beetlejuice tone to it. That's all it is.
Keep in mind, though, that even though Tim Burton was attached to the project, he was only an executive producer. He had another guy who directed the film. And the movie basically came from a poem that Tim Burton wrote because this one time it was just before Halloween ended, some of these shops were taking down their Halloween displays and putting up Christmas displays, which nowadays they do that shit even in freaking September, for God's sakes.
Well, listen, regardless of whether he was, had his full hands on it or not, he was a part of that project, and the people below him were going to try to appease his style. We're going to try doing that Tim Burton style because they knew that name was on it. Was Tim Burton on Paranorman too? Because that looked a lot like a Tim Burton style movie too.
I don't think he was attached to Paranorman. I don't think he was.
Okay, well, that had that style as well. It's actually a very old style. It's a German Impressionist style. If you go back to the 1920s, there's a silent black and white film called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. You look that up. It looks just like a present-day Tim Burton film. Like, you see this, and it's like, this is where Tim Burton gets his style from. He ripped every bit of everything he does off, the slanted windows and the cockamamie house shapes and stuff like that. That's all from that movie.
You can see where he got his inspiration from, and that's definitely showed in Nightmare Before Christmas. But but I do respect that you feel that way about the movie. It's not for everybody.
I don't hate it. Like I said, I have my respect for it, but I people praised it like it's this godly movie, and I'm like, it's okay, I guess. I can stand sitting through it once every few years, but I'm not going to break it out every year, especially not twice for both seasons.
I understand.
And people have died in love for this film, though.
And they do. That's just what I don't understand. I think it's a fine film, but I just don't think it's worth the praise that it gets. And that's pretty much anything for Tim Burton. Yeah, he's made a couple of good films, but overall, they're not all great.
The same guys that did James and the Giant Peach.
That was
a significantly better one, I would say.
It was. I'll agree with that.
Was that a DreamWorks picture?
No.
No, it was Disney.
They made that too, huh?
Yep.
Oh.
And also Jack Skellington makes a cameo appearance in that film too.
Really?
Yes, it does. Go watch it.
Fancy.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, going back to Night Before Christmas, that definitely has. It's the one movie I know of that has the most merchandise attached to it.
Gosh, I remember back in the day when you go to the mall, they had the Disney store,
and
you would have all your stuff with Mickey Mouse and Dumbo and Eeyore and Tinkerbell. And then there would always be this one section all the way in the back. They always hit it way, way in the back. They would always have a decent-sized Nightmare Before Christmas section. And they knew it was like the black sheep of the store, so they tucked it away in the back. But there was always a decent amount of merchandise there for you to go and get. And then stacked on top of that, you had your stores like Hot Topic and Spencer's, which were selling a lot of memorabilia for
I
it
was
as well.
going to say, you don't have to look anywhere but Hot Topic for it should just be called the Nightmare Before Christmas store.
I would definitely go in there every single day, even if I did not have any money. Okay, what else we got here for films?
Man, there's a lot. Mulan.
Pass.
Pass. Pocahontas.
Pass.
That was kind of a big deal when it came out.
I hate to say, pretty much anything where they made the female main character, not so good. Not until Brave, I would say. Brave is where they finally got a female lead character that was really fun and cool again.
Yeah, that's a Bug's Life.
Bug's Life is fantastic.
Was that the first? No, it wasn't. Toy Story was the first Pixar movie. All right, let's talk about Toy Story for a minute.
Oh, goodness gracious, yes. I actually don't want to delve too much into it because I think we could do a Toy Story episode someday with a trilogy. But just in general, Toy Story, another one of those songs where I think what accentuated the most is they hooked up with a very great music artist with Randy Newman. Randy Newman. I wasn't sure if that was his name or so. Isn't Randy Newman the salad dressing guy?
Yeah. Doesn't he sing everything you're doing right now?
Yeah, exactly. Made some awesome music for that movie, so that helped them out a lot. And just the whole CG thing. I mean, before that, we'd only see CG in pieces with like in the dinosaur in Jurassic Park, certain things in the Terminator, Aliens, a couple other movies. But for this, finally, we're seeing 100% everything you're looking on the screen with CG. And to be honest, to this day, it still looks smooth.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And
it looks
when
a little
it came out,
because we add more textures now and layers, but as far as just a base thing, I mean, this looks like something if someone did it in college, you'd be astounded by it.
You know what? When we first saw this, it was a bittersweet moment because it was like this great animation style, but then again, the hand-drawn animation style, is dying because of this.
Well, no, you know what? They've been trying to kill it, and it still hasn't died.
Well, that's the thing, too, because there's not too many hand-drawn anime movies being made right now. The last one that came out was The Princess and the Frog, and to tell you the truth, that didn't look very appealing. But regardless of that, there is still hand-drawn animation today, but it's on, like on Disney Channel, you got Phineas and Ferb. But even that, they use computers to make that show, because they use special tablets in order to draw the pictures and everything. It's still hand-drawn animation, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But the general art form of hand-drawn animation, it's on life support at this time. And
no, I mean, there will still be hand-drawn. Whether it goes to Wacom tablets or whatever they're using, that's fine. But as long as you're doing something that's a 2D style with a hand actually making it, it has such a different organic look to it than if you're just programming coordinates inside of a program.
That's true, but generally nowadays any animated film coming out is CG, and I love CG, don't get me wrong, it was great when it first came out, but I can see that, I mean, I'm going on my soapbox here, sorry guys, but for the most part CG has taken over in terms of storytelling, and with these animated movies, it's all animated on computers, and I think, I mean, it's not just Disney, we got DreamWorks that releases movies like that. There's other movie companies, and that's just basically what's taken over. And it's because of movies like Toy Story and A Bug's Life that have brought CG animated movies as the norm. And it's really, in a way, I see that's kind of sad because I've really loved these animated movies like Hercules, The Emperor's New Groove, Lion King.
Let's not lie here. This is not a stylistic choice. People are not going to those because they thought Toy Story looked amazing. They're going to CG because it's a cheaper route to get their movie made.
I understand that, but it's just I kind of, it feels, it's like it's plastic to me. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't have the same spirit, I think. That's just my personal preference.
It depends. I mean, every once in a while, I'll see a CG movie where I'm able to escape the fact that it's CG and feel like it's a little cartoon. Disney, I think, is the best at it. I mean, Toy Story was a good example. Mm-hmm. The Incredibles, which would come out a number of years later, I think was another fantastic movie that I never, at any point, and I was like, I'm looking at CG, which I get a lot. DreamWorks has done a fantastic job as well with their Shrek series, How to Train a Dragon. All those movies I see, and I'm not really getting appalled by it. But whenever I see like a CG TV show or a lower company, or even some of the ones that Disney and DreamWorks put out that aren't so great, it'll irritate the hell out of me and completely take me out of the movie.
Reboot.
Well, Reboot's terrible. I cannot watch that show.
Terribly awesome.
But apparently they're going to be bringing that back, and hopefully it's going to look a lot better than the old shows.
I hope it doesn't.
I hope it looks
do
worse.
it just like
The voice acting was terrible. Come on. Think about it. That show is, okay, we're getting off topic. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Pixar and Walt Disney, they it seems like they're churning out these CGI movies like candy, like Bolt, Up, Wall-E.
Bolt was not Pixar. That was a Disney.
Cars. I mean, yeah, but it's all under the Disney name.
True, that's true.
What is that new one with the slug?
Slug?
Turbo,
yeah,
but that's DreamWorks.
Turbo.
That's DreamWorks.
Oh, it's DreamWorks? Man,
yeah.
That movie looks terrible.
So does Frozen.
jeez. Yeah, Frozen. Is that? Yeah, that's the new one that they're working on.
It's coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the new movies that they're working on here. What's Frozen about?
Don't know much about it, but I know it takes place in this kingdom where the evil sister takes this kingdom and turns into a winter wonderland where everything is snow covered, there's ice. That's all I know about it. But to tell you the truth, it
seems terrible.
It doesn't look good. I'm not impressed with it.
I think this is going to be an unexpected surprise, actually. It's based on the Snow Queen, which is a fine tale, I suppose. It's a good winter movie. I think it's a fine one to be coming out this season. There isn't really anything else going, so I think it'll do well in the box office for that. I'll give it a chance. I'm not going to be completely closed-minded. I mean, Disney generally does a good job even when you don't think they're going to. And when you look at a movie like Hercules or The Emperor's New Groove, I remember the first time I saw tidbits for that, I was like, this looks awful. And both of those ended up being great movies.
Emperor's New
Brave.
Groove.
A lot of people put down Brave when it was going to come out.
Yeah, Brave was actually a really good film. Really great female protagonist, something that Disney had shied away from for a long time. But not a lot of new stuff that's really like, I don't know. I can't see anything that's coming out that I'd really want to watch. Like nothing like The Lion King. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember Disney just some time ago they released Planes on the DVD and Blu-ray, and it's supposed to be like a spin-off of Cars.
Ugh.
I don't know.
Cars was okay.
Cars was great. I loved it. The second one, yeah. It's supposed to be like a spin-off of Cars, but it does not look good either. I just don't know.
Who was that redneck comedian that was in that movie? God, I can't
Larry
stand
the Cable
him.
Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy. Can't stand him. God. Ugh. He's like a shit stain on American pop culture.
That's okay. That's actually kind of true, but okay. So everything has that. Like when he became so popular with the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, he rode on the coattails of that.
Yeah.
And now he was in everything. He
totally coattails.
Well, now he's in Prilosec commercials.
Prilosec commercials. He has a show on, I think it's the History Channel.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He has his own line of snack food, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah. Merchandising with tons of shit that says "Get Her Done" on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of all the people that came out of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, I think Ron White was the funniest.
Oh, I loved Ron White.
Ron White was good, but the rest of them.
Jeff Foxworthy and Bill Lincoln.
Jeff Foxworthy, I don't understand how his career went so far.
Well, he was big before that. He was the guy who people watched that to see.
Why though? He's not funny.
Well, he had a not a huge following, but like a cult following beforehand.
Yeah.
He was at the tail end of his career at that point.
If your wife is bigger than your pickup truck, you might be a redneck.
That's his thing.
He's fucking dumb. Yeah.
But the one of all of them, I do love Ron White, and of course I love Bill Engvall, and he's pretty funny. So
Bill Engvall was good.
He's in the same vein of Jeff Foxworthy because he has that shtick with "Here's Your Sign."
Yeah, Here's Your Sign. But
"Here's Your Sign" is a lot funnier than if you're blah blah blah, then you might be a redneck.
Man, I feel like the whole redneck country music, all that. I feel like all those people are in their own little world. Like they're so disconnected from real reality and like real American culture.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I gotta tell you.
Well, what's your definition of real? I mean, that is what their definition of real American culture is.
I know, but it's not suited in reality. It's not. There's no.
Reality is everyone's own definition of it. I mean, what's your reality is completely different to them. If they looked at you, they're not going to understand what you see.
All right, that's a good point.
I mean, people like around here, they would never give country music the time of day, but country music is one of the most popular music genres in the country.
It is, but man, if you listen to the country music stations and stuff, they have the same 10 songs
around here. If you listen
that is one big pile of shit.
In Tennessee, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't.
If you listen to the rock stations around here, it's the same 10 songs that are shit. How are you gonna just make fun of country for that?
Make fun of country. Oh, country's terrible. I mean, no, not all country is terrible.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Country has become more pop than anything.
Yeah,
So has everything else.
Thank you.
Yeah, but so has everything else. So has hip hop. So has rock. The rock doesn't even exist anymore. What bands are out anymore?
Yeah, but they all have.
Fun? You're gonna praise fun?
Well, here's the thing. I'm sorry to say this. Every single type of music comes out today. All represents the following.
That is one big pile of shit.
Thank you. All music today, I'm sorry, is a big pile of shit. Listen to it. It's like what I said last week. Listen to the music that's being produced today. It has no substance. It all sounds the same.
There's no value to it.
That's stereotyping. I mean, there's a lot of great music that's out there.
It's not mainstream.
Yes, exactly.
That's not completely untrue. Old Crow Medicine Show has gotten a pretty decent following for themselves. Coheed and Cambria has gotten a decent following for themselves.
All right, with the exception, no, Old Crow Medicine Show isn't exactly mainstream either.
Yes, they are. Are you kidding? They're one of the biggest country bands in the country right now. They've won awards. They're on every type of TV show. They're all over the place. How can you say they're not a big band right now?
I don't see them on television.
If you can, if they show music videos during the day.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they rock.
They're on Fallon. They're on the Country Music Channel all the time. They're on all the late night TV shows. They're pretty big. I go to games. I hear Wagon Wheel played in between, like batters coming up to play baseball.
You know, they didn't write that song.
Of course they didn't, but that's their hit.
Yeah, that's
and actually they wrote a lot of it. The only thing they took was the chorus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to battle Old Crow facts at me. I know my Old Crow facts.
All right. Actually, you're the one that put me on the Old Crow Medicine.
Exactly. I went all the way to Kentucky to see Old Crow Medicine Show.
All right, let's.
I don't know. Just give me a Pink Floyd album and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
All right.
So wait, you're complaining about things being the same, but then you want to listen to the same album over and over again for 20 years?
I didn't say the same album. Just give me Pink Floyd. Give me any album of theirs, and I'll be happy. It's like
I think pop music needs to change.
The whole music industry needs to change. For one thing, we need to get rid of some of that stuff that's on pop radio. I'm sorry, Lady Gaga. I'm really gotten tired of her.
Well, then don't listen to her.
You know what, though? Lady Gaga.
It's not that hard to turn off the radio and make. I mean, with stuff like Pandora and Spotify, YouTube, there's no excuse that you can't just listen to whatever you like. And there's so many options out there. I mean, to say that all music today is terrible, that's so closed-minded. There's so much music out there that even like just mainstream artists alone, but then with all the independent artists that are able to freely get their stuff out there and get so much exposure, that's a big slap in the face to musicians.
I will agree with you on that.
Okay, all right.
The outsourcing of original artists is out there. I mean, even if you just go to SoundCloud, like you know, you could get a lot of like underground stuff, a lot different. And yeah, I mean, you're right. The reach, because of the internet, there's a lot more variety.
Now, I'm with you guys that if you go to a top 40 station, I'm not going to enjoy too much of their playing on there either. But you know what? It's just not for me then.
But that's the stuff that they're shoving down your throat.
And Miley Cyrus, and if they want to like it, good for them. You know, there's a lot of stuff that was shitty back in the day. I mean, when Pink Floyd was making their great music, disco was rocking the airwaves.
Do you bring up such a valid point? But you know what? Pink Floyd is better than disco. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, just to sum this up, you know what? You're right. I'm going to give it that to you. That's music today. Should not be so closed-minded about it because of the internet, because of YouTube and Spotify and all these other music services. You have a better outreach as to what is out there and finding different artists that aren't mainstream at this point. You know?
Well, I'll give it to you this. It's a shame that you have to actually look for good music as opposed to it just being readily available everywhere you go. You know, back in the day, I could go into a diner and they would have music playing on the radio overhead, and like I wouldn't think anything of it. It was all great. But now it's like, oh God, it's that fucking Gautier song again.
Or anything by One Direction.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, but that's always existed. I mean, you go back to the 90s, you had New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, Spice Girls.
And shit.
Milli Vanilli.
That was a joke.
These kind of artists always existed.
But, yeah, that's true. Okay.
I just don't understand why they have to shove the crap down your throat.
Speaking of shoving crap down your throat, guys, Thanksgiving is 2 days away.
Oh, that's a nice transition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is 2 days away. Not a holiday I generally get too excited about. I mean, it's fine. It's cool.
What?
You get together with some family and friends, eat some food. What's the big deal? And what are we even celebrating?
Football.
Football.
Not to get to that whole thing, but I mean, we killed Indians and shit. What are we celebrating? What exactly is this holiday for? It's not celebrating our independence. We do that in July.
I love it.
It's not celebrating America. We also do that in July. Not to mention we also do that on Flag Day and to a lesser extent Memorial and Veterans Day. So what are we doing on Thanksgiving?
Football.
Well, we are thankful for all the things that we get, and we celebrate by going to the stores early in the morning and trampling everybody else to get stuff we don't need.
That's what Thanksgiving is. It's Black Friday Eve, and everyone gets nice and stuffed on food, so they have plenty of energy to fight the next morning.
Yes. Get your battle axe ready. I'm getting a PlayStation 4.
Oh man, how about that South Park series that they got going on right now?
Oh man.
Based on Game of Thrones, and it's all about the Xbox versus PS4 rivalry leading into a Black Friday extravaganza.
I know. I can't wait for tomorrow's episode. You know, this trilogy has definitely made this season one of the best.
I think this has been a very solid season so far, and this, I think, is their best trilogy they've ever done. I mean, they've pretty much done one of these almost every season lately. You know, they started off with that Imagination Land, and they did the Coon one, and I think they had another one, but this one has been absolutely intriguing and fantastic. Maybe I'm appreciating it a little bit more because I'm such a big game head, but even people I'm talking to who are not big Game of Thrones fans can find a lot of things. Because, you know what, it's not that Game of Thrones centric. Like, there's just enough Game of Thrones stuff in there for the Game of Thrones fans to enjoy it, but there's more than a story about Black Friday and the PS4 versus Xbox. That's more the story of it.
There's a lot of gay penis. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's the plot spot. Wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener.
The pizzas are coming. The pizzas are coming.
They're going to be great. There's going to be 5 of them. It's going to be awesome.
Whites win! Whites win! Race war's over, everybody! Whites won again!
All right, talking about like television shows, like, have you guys? I haven't watched Family Guy in a while.
Oh, jeez.
All right, yeah, you know what's coming. They killed off one of the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
They killed off Brian.
Yes.
Dog. Now, how do you feel about that?
Am I supposed to care?
I mean, if you watch the show, maybe.
I will go.
A lot of people care. I mean, it's a really popular television show, and he was a really popular character.
I will definitely step in for the fans, and I will speak on behalf of them. It is pretty sad what they've done to him because he was my favorite character of the whole show. But at the same time, someone else brought this up to me. They do the same thing with comic books. They kill off the main character, and then somewhere down the storyline, they bring him back for some strange reason.
I don't think so. I think Seth MacFarlane is trying to kill off Family Guy.
That's what I've heard too, because he said a lot of this. He feels that a lot of TV shows really need to stop after the 7th season, and they're already in their 12th season.
No, I've been watching now. They killed Lois too?
No, Lois is still around. They did get rid of one of the news anchors from Channel 5 News. And, of course, Loretta, who was Cleveland's wife. Yeah, that's right, Cleveland's wife.
She left a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But she was a very insignificant character.
Yeah, but exactly.
Cleveland left too.
Yeah.
Cleveland went on to his own show, which was fucking terrible.
It is.
Oh, that was...
It's full of so many black stereotypes.
And what was the other show that they had? American Dad.
Mm-hmm.
That show was kind of...
Well, apparently that's Seth MacFarlane's baby now. That's why he doesn't care about Family Guy anymore. He wants to concentrate more on American Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but that's such a big, like, I don't know if he's trying to create a buzz from this, or he's just trying to kill the show, but...
Well, does this have the same thing to do with, like, November sweeps?
What?
In the TV industry, they have sweeps week in November and in February, and they have another one, I think it's in May, and this is where they create, like, the strongest story points, the strongest episode, so that way the networks take notice of them and see if they can go ahead and continue with their show. But I don't know if this would qualify as November sweeps.
I'm not sure.
But anyways, no, I will.
I know they had something big happen on Walking Dead, so it could be.
Yeah. But
and it was the Night of Survivor series.
Yeah, that's right.
So there was a lot of shit going on. So it could be.
Yeah, but that just shows you, man. There's not like television is dying, man. I'm telling you.
Well,
I disagree. Television's never been stronger. I think what we're going to be seeing is just a transition off of the cable medium. And we've already left the coaxial, and the days of the rabbit ears are long gone now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think eventually we're going to see more on-demand services. That's where it's all going to go. Television's not going to die. I mean, these television shows are only getting bigger budgets, bigger followings, bigger advertising revenue.
And then also take notice, like this past Saturday, this is the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Holy shit.
That episode, they poured a lot of money into that, and rightfully so. That was movie-quality stuff right there.
Every episode of Game of Thrones costs more than your average movie. That's the budget of these things.
I still can't believe Simpsons is still around.
I know. That's been around since 1989, and started as shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show in 1987. So when you think about it, The Simpsons have been around ever since the Fox Television Network first came on the air.
Whew.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Simpsons is a great show, but God, how long can a cartoon show go on?
As long as Fox says you guys are going to make more seasons, then they're going to stay on the air. Because that's their baby right there. That's Fox's main show. And if you ever The Simpsons...
Well, that shows you how terrible Fox is.
Fox has some good shows, I will tell you. I mean, do you like Sleepy Hollow? That's a good program. And I was a big fan of House when I was on. But in terms of...
House was okay.
It was great for the first couple of seasons. And, yeah, it started getting a little... it looked like they were really being forced to play these characters, and as well as the storylines are being a little forced and everything. But in general, I've really loved House.
Yeah, I like the character. I like the House character. He's, I like the whole concept of the doctor just knows everything, and the rest of them are just idiots.
Well, basically, that show was a takeoff on the whole Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson characters. It was a variation of that.
Well, that's interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yep. That's why you always see Dr. House and Dr. Wilson always butting heads. It was the same relationship they had that Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson had.
That's interesting.
But and back to with Fox, they do have some good shows, but I gotta say, I mean, right now their strongest shows is like Glee. That's still going, and of course the Sunday night animation domination thing that they've got going on with The Simpsons and Family Guy. Dad's, from what I've heard, is on Tuesday nights, it's just on while we're doing this show. That's doing very well from what I hear. Fox does have some good programs, but for the most part, I find a lot more entertaining programs on the CW.
Or FX.
Or FX. Or FXX.
FX is good. Yeah, I like FX.
Or FXX.
That's what I just said.
Go to now. Yeah, that's what you got to go to now to watch the good shows.
Yeah, I was like, not prime cable, but like Spike TV.
Yeah. Or BBC America. Oh wait, they're always showing Star Trek: The Next Generation, and anything to do with Gordon Ramsay.
I feel like I'm the only geek that doesn't like Star Trek.
I don't like Star Trek either. I don't
like old Star Trek, but I like J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. And through watching J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, I found the older Star Treks a little bit more accessible. I mostly found them easiest to watch when I watched them with the riff tracks. So I think if you had to go and do the series, do it with the riff tracks. It makes them a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Okay, I might try that. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's what I'll do with a lot of those movies that are like big name movies that I feel like I should see at some point in my lifetime, but I might not be able to sit through it. I'll put a riff tracks if it has one. I did that for like the Pirates movies and Daredevil, a couple other movies.
When you say riff track, what are you talking about?
Michael J. Nelson of Mystery Science Theater 3000 fame.
It's not just Michael J. Nelson. It's also Bill Corbett and Kevin something.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Murphy.
Kevin Sorbo. Oh.
Yeah. No, it's the second guy who was the human and the two guys who played the robots on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah. Well, one of them, who played Crow, he's not doing the riff tracks thing, although he was doing something with the cinematic Titanic, which is just like riff tracks. Only it's the same.
Well, the original Crow, who was only there for like one season. The second Crow.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's right.
Cinematic Titanic was the original guy, Joel, the original Crow, the one who did the voice for fucking that vacuum cleaner looking one, Gypsy, and the two guys who were the doctors, the doctor and his lab assistant. That's what Cinematic Titanic is. So they pretty much like split and have made rival companies.
Yeah, but they both do the same thing. And basically, yeah, it's just great. And my brother, God rest his soul, he actually downloaded riff tracks for me for Plan 9. Oh, Jesus Christ.
District 9? Or Plan 9 from Outer Space.
That's it, Plan 9 from Outer Space. And it is hilarious.
They did that live at some point recently.
Yeah,
They've been doing a lot of those.
They do a lot of those, yeah.
I've been meaning to go to one. I think I was going to go to the first one, which was for Plan 9. And then they've been doing a few times since. I think they have one coming up for Starship Troopers that I might try to attend.
Starship Troopers. I love that movie.
Then you're going to love the riff tracks when they do their version of it.
That was one of the first movies I got to see titties.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of MSTK3, I got that mixed up. MST3K. Joel Hodgson's 5 fucking up names tonight.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, that guy who started.
The guy named Joel.
Yeah. This Thursday on Thanksgiving, he's going to be hosting a marathon online, and they're going to be showing six fan favorite episodes of Mr. Science Theater 3000.
On what?
Oh, it was on Facebook. He announced that. I forgot the damn website. I'll have to look it up.
You can't just drop a bombshell like that and not tell people where they can tune in to see it.
Well, I'll tell you what. You guys carry on while I take a look at this.
Okay. The nicest thing about riff tracks and even Cinematic Titanic too, I prefer riff tracks. That's why I'll always say riff tracks first. But the nice thing about them is they do modern movies as opposed to MST3K, where it was typically like B-class 60s movies. Monster movies and the Hercules movies and the movies of that like Godzilla's. Now they're doing the present-day superhero movies. You can get one on The Dark Knight and Superman and Daredevil and Fantastic Four and all the funny current-day Nick Cage movies like Gone in 60 Seconds. Perfect.
Yeah. I got to check that stuff out, man. You're going to have to send me a link to that.
Okay, I think I might have found it. Hang on one second, guys. But keep talking. Here we go.
Here's the thing. When you go to the website, it's not you go there and you get an audio track, and then you have to sync the audio track with your DVD.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like a project.
Yeah. No, they do a very good job, like telling you where to sync. It's like, okay, well, the Dimensions Films logo is going to be appearing now. Press pause when I tell you to, and when it goes to black, press play again. Ready? Pause. And then you pause, and then when the Dimension logo fades to black, you press play, and you're all synced up.
Cool.
They got that shit figured out.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
Here's the website. And I'm smacking my head, doing a face palm, not realizing how simple this is. The website is mst3kturkeyday.com.
Wow, they even got a specific URL for that. That's cool.
Yep. And you'll be able to for 6 glorious classic sample-field episodes of Mr. Science Theater 3000. And I'm trying to see what time it starts. But if you go to that website, it'll tell you when it starts. But it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait.
So is this free?
It's free. It is indeed free. Okay, it starts 12 noon Eastern.
No. Wait. What?
Mm-hmm. I'll go and I'll share the link with you guys.
Yeah, because I'm going there and it's telling me to buy stuff.
Oh, well, that's because it's with Reddit and also it has something to do with the Shout Factory. But no,
so they'll probably update this the day of to where it'll just have a screen on it to watch.
Yeah, they're going to stream They're going to stream it. So.
God, I want to fucking pay for this. I'll pay like $5, but I'm not going to pay any more than that.
There you go. So, and also on Turkey Day, MST's can join in on Twitter with the hashtag MST3K. And for updates on all things MST3K Turkey Day, follow at Shout Factory and at Joel G. Hodgson, or enter your email address below.
Not here on the YouTube video.
No, not here, but the website, MST3KTurkeyDay.com.
Just want to be specific.
Yes.
Alrighty. I guess with that, I guess we could wrap up the show on that note. Error. So, Travis.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, very well. Looks like I've gone ahead and I've recorded some episodes of my Skull Monkeys Let's Play for my Let's Play channel, www.youtube.com/rose-colored-let's play. Just got to do some editing, and I'm going to get the first episode up in a day or so. And also, I'm a host of Rose-Colored Reviews, which is on YouTube at www.youtube.com/rose-colored-reviews. And you can follow me on Twitter, TravisGoss79, and I have a Facebook page, facebook.com/rose-colored-reviews. And also check me out Saturday nights. I co-host with some really great people here on MegaPowersRadio.com with I Got Gameplay.
Alrighty. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm tired. Everyone just stay tuned to everything we got going on here at Mega Powers Radio, www.megapowersradio.com. We got cool shows going on almost every single night, that is, except for Thursdays and Fridays. So if you are listening and you are interested in starting up a podcast, or you have a current show that you would like to get put live on this station, please get in touch with me at mike.payden@megapowersradio.com. That's MIKE, PADEN, @megapowersradio.com.
Alrighty. So, thank you for listening, folks. Please tune in to Geek Speak live every Tuesday night. We're on at 8 p.m. Eastern on Mega Powers Radio at www.megapowersradio.com. And if you'd like to hear our archive versions of the show, if you couldn't make it to our live broadcast, subscribe to the official Mega Powers Radio YouTube channel at youtube.com/Mega Powers Radio. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio by searching Geek Speak. You can also find us on fanboysanonymous.com, a place for everything geek. Please also stay in contact with us and interact with us by liking us at our Facebook page at facebook.com/GeekSpeakLive. Or you can email us at geeksack@megapowersradio.com. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Of the juggernaut, bitch!
It's not a tumor.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
2 chicks at the same time.
I am the law!
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win. You die.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!